Om Swastiastu, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Shalom Namo Buddhaya. Hello, doctors and friends. Today we're from the SGD B7 group. We're going to present about the role of complementary feeding or MPASI in preventing micronutrient deficiencies in children as our student project. But first, let us introduce our members and also the table of contents. My name is Nadia Ernestine, and the last three digits of my student number are 155. And now I'm going to present about the introduction of our student project. The first one is the background. The first 1,000 days is a child's most important phase in their growth and development process. It is crucial to ensure optimal growth and health during that phase. Complementary foods help prevent child growth delays and to ensure that infants receive sufficient nutrition during the critical period of 0 to 2 years, where good eating habits should be established by properly introducing complementary foods. The infant's nutritional requirements will be met, balancing the overall nutrition obtained from breast milk. Micronutrient deficiency is a condition where a person, in this case a child, not getting the amount of nutrition the body requires. This could have a bad impact in the child's growth and development process. The problem formulations for our student projects are: what does it mean by complementary feeding? What are the purposes, principles, and types of complementary feeding? What are the factors that can influence the pattern of complementary feeding? What does it mean by macronutrients deficiency on children's growth and development process? What are the types of micronutrients that are essential for children's growth and development process? And the last is, what are the roles of complementary feeding on solving the children's micronutrient deficiency problems? The objectives of our student projects are: 1. To find out more about what complementary feeding is and the importance of complementary feeding for children's growth and development process. The second is to know more about what factors can influence the pattern of complementary feeding. The third is to find out more about what micronutrient deficiency is and be more aware about what can micronutrient deficiency do to a child's body. And the last one is to know furthermore about how complementary feeding works on overcoming a child's micronutrient deficiency condition. The benefits that we want to achieve from writing the student project is so the authors learn more about what is complementary feeding and what does it do to help overcome children's micronutrition deficiency. The student project are also expected to have a positive impact and bring benefits to the readers. By reading this paper, the authors hope that the readers could have a better understanding on how complementary feeding is very important in a child's growth and development process, and also be more aware to avoid children's micronutrient deficiency.
My name is Kinan Kalisha with the last three digits of my student ID number R152. So the definition of the complementary feeding is an easily digestive foods to accomplish nutrition of a growing baby. It said that the recommended age for a baby to eat complementary foods is when they reach 6 months. It's because after 6 months, the baby will increasingly find it difficult to meet their needs from their mother's milk only. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jacinda Isadora Mannuela with last three digits of my student number 147. Complementary feeding or MPASI can be given to babies when they are 6 until 9 months old. At this age, the baby digestive system has begun to mature and can accept solid food. The purpose of giving complementary food is to fill the nutritional deficiencies between the nutrition needed by the baby and the amount of nutrition received from breast milk. And it can develop children's ability to accept various foods with various tastes and shapes. Consumption of MPASI also has an impact on children's growth and development.
Hello, my name is Nesa Aini with last three digits student number 156. So there are some principles that need to be followed to achieve an optimal complementary feeding according to the World Health Organization. First, continue frequent breastfeeding until the child 2 years of age. Second, conduct a responsive feeding. Third, maintain a good hygiene and proper food handling. Then increase the amounts of the food gradually. Increase the consistency and variety of the food gradually. Then increase the number of the feeding times. And add additional vitamin and mineral. Then increase the fluid intake during illness.
Good morning, my name is Kenisha Tedijanto, and the last three digits of my student number is 154. The recommended age to proceed complementary feeding is 6 months, however, that's not always the case. There is a pattern that younger parents with lower level of education tend to start complementary feeding for their children before 6 months of age. This is also found in firstborn or premature babies and babies who do not receive milk. There is also a pattern that nowadays in urban areas and in many countries, parents tend to give children commercial cereals for complementary feeding or light and sweet foods like biscuit to show affection. However, they might still be low in nutritional intake.
My name is Putu Prameswari with the last 3 digits of my student's number R151. I will explain about the types of complementary feeding based on how they are made, the contents, and the age grouping. There are 2 types of complementary feeding based on how they are made, such as first is local complementary feeding. It is prepared by the mother, made from local available food ingredients and affordable in price. Then there is manufactured complementary feeding. These foods are made by the factory. Based on the contents, the types of complementary feeding can be divided into carbohydrate source. Examples are porridge, steamed rice, potatoes, and biscuit. Then protein source examples include meat, fish, eggs, and tofu. And then there is fat source, for example, corn oil or sunflower oil. And the last one is vitamin and mineral source. Examples are spinach, broccoli, and sweet corn. And then age of complementary feeding can be divided into several groups. The first one is age 6 to 7 months. It is the first time a baby is introduced to the foods and the complementary food is given in smooth form. And then the second one is age 7 to 9 months. At this age, proteins can already be given into the babies. And then the last one is age 9 to 12 months. At this age, the food can contain a little salt but not sugar. The shape and density of the food must be adjusted gradually and it will approach the shape and density of family food.
Hi everyone, my name is Skylenn Hertanto Tan with the last 3 digits of my student number is 145, and today I will explain about the definition of micronutrients. So micronutrients are essential nutrients that are required by the body in small amounts to maintain various physiological functions. These nutrients include vitamins and minerals, which play a crucial role in maintaining good health and preventing chronic disease. Additionally, these vitamins and minerals must be obtained from foods that we eat since our body cannot produce them. Micronutrients are especially important for children because they are in a critical stage of growth and development. During childhood, the body requires more sufficient amount of vitamins and minerals to support the growth and development of various tissues and organs, including the brain, bones, and the immune system. Maybe that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Putu Devi with last digit of student number is 159. I'll explain about type of micronutrients. Micronutrients are also known as vitamin and minerals, are essential for optimal growth, disease prevention, and well-being. With the exception of vitamin D, micronutrients are not synthesized by the body and must be consumed. Vitamins are either water-soluble or lipid-soluble organic micronutrients. Vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, B12, and vitamin C are water-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A, E, D, and K are essential fat vitamins. Minerals are organic micronutrients. Minerals can be either classified as macrominerals and microminerals. Calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, and potassium are macrominerals. Microminerals include iron, copper, zinc, selenium, and iodine.
My name is Philbert Purbowo, and the last 3 digits of my name is 148. Vitamin A affects sight, immune system, reproductive system, growth and development, and it affects various organs such as the heart and lungs, etc. It is found in fish, organs, dairy products, and eggs, and the required amount vary depending on age and sex. For child born up to 6 months, they require 400 micrograms RAE, while infants 7 to 12 months require 500 micrograms RAE. Deficiency may lead to xerophthalmia, blindness, pneumonia, measles, diarrhea, and/or anemia, and tests can only detect severe levels, which is only used for detection in a population's public health. A concentration of less than 0.7 micromole per liter indicate mild vitamin A deficiency, while less than 0.35 micromole per liter indicate severe vitamin A deficiency. The table for the public health significance is included in the paper. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Dewi with the last 3 digits of my student number are 146. Iron is a vital micronutrient that serves several important functions in the human body, such as carrying oxygen from lung to tissues, as a facilitator of the use of oxygen reserves in the muscles, transport electron, and as integral of several enzymes. There are several forms of iron in the body: hemoglobin, myoglobin, cytochromes, ferritin, hemosiderin, and transferrin. The forms of iron, heme and non-heme, are both present in dietary sources. Meat, poultry, and fish are the sole sources of heme iron, whereas vegetables, fruits, dry beans, grain products, and nuts all contain non-heme iron. Heme iron is more readily absorbed by the body than non-heme iron. At birth, Full-term healthy newborns have a high blood volume and hemoglobin concentration for their weight, totaling around 75 mg per kilogram of iron. There are 3 stages of iron deficiency. First, iron depleted state. Second, iron deficiency. And iron deficiency anemia as the 3rd stage.
I am Gusti Agung Krisania Mahaputri with the last 3 digits of my student number R143. Will continue with iodine deficiency. Iodine is an important micronutrient that is needed for the production of thyroid hormone, which regulates development, growth, and metabolism of human body. In infants, there is elevated thyroid hormone turnover that increases the iodine requirement. And those requirement is mostly provided by maternal breast milk. Meanwhile, 5% lactating women have postpartum thyroiditis. Iodine deficiency is characterized by the enlargement of the thyroid gland that is called as goiter. Hypothyroidism in infants and children increases the risk of metabolic abnormalities, impairment in growth, delayed skeletal maturation, cognitive deficit, intellectual impairments, and auditory disorder. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
According to the World Health Organization, complementary feeding or MPASI should be provided in a timely, adequate, safe, and properly fed. Adequate means the presence of nutrients in complementary feeding may fulfill the macronutrient and micronutrient requirements of children. However, micronutrient deficiency are still be a public health problem. In Indonesia, the most common micronutrient deficiency are vitamin A deficiency, iron deficiency anemia, and iodine deficiency. In this case, complementary feeding plays a significant role in achieving the daily needs of micronutrients. As shown in the figure, the white part represents the quantity of vitamin A required for absorption from the complementary feeding. At the age of 0 to 5 months, vitamin A from birth stores are still sufficient to meet the needs of vitamin A along with breast milk. However, when the child reaches the age of 6 months, vitamin A from birth stores have run out. Therefore, the white part shows a small gap between what the children requires and what breast milk provides. If this gap cannot be filled by complementary feeding, the child will be at risk of getting vitamin A deficiency. In developing countries, vitamin A deficiency is a major cause of childhood blindness. One of the effects of vitamin A deficiency is xerophthalmia. This indicates that complementary feeding should supply lots of vitamin A to cover the gap starting around 6 months of age. The second part is iron. As shown in the figure, the white part represents the quantity of iron required for absorption from the complementary feeding. At the age of 0 until 5 months, iron from breast stores are still sufficient to meet the needs of iron along with breast milk. However, when the child reaches the age of 6 months, iron from breast stores have run out. So, the white part shows a large gap between what the children requires and what breast milk can provide. This indicates that complementary feeding are required to replace the iron gap beginning at 6 months of age. Iron has an important role in the transport of oxygen or hemoglobin in the blood. Children will be at risk of getting iron deficiency anemia if the iron gap is not fulfilled. Iron deficiency anemia is the most common micronutrient deficiency problem found worldwide, especially in developing countries. With proper complementary feeding, the morbidity and mortality of iron deficiency anemia will decrease. The last part is iodine. As shown in the table, iodine is required in small amounts in our body. Iodine is an essential nutrient required for the formation of some metabolic hormones, such as thyroid hormones, triiodothyronine, and thyroxine. Thyroid hormones regulate the process, metabolism, and affect the work of other hormones. Therefore, the fulfillment of iodine is very important even from the moment of the newborn child is born. Children who don't consume complementary feeding containing iodine throughout the weaning phase are at risk of iodine deficiency. Goiter is one of the disorders induced by iodine deficiency. Furthermore, severe iodine shortage may result in mental retardation and stunting. As a result, providing complementary feeding contains iodine in adequate quantities can fill the gap that breast milk alone cannot provide.
My name is Jacinda Isadora with last 3 digits of my student number 147. Complementary foods are foods that are easily digested to meet the nutrition of growing baby. We all recommend to introduce complementary food to infants aged 6 months. Consumption of complementary foods or MPASI can impact on children's growth and development. Complementary food must provide sufficient nutrition to fill the deficiency.
My name is Kalisha with the last 3 digits of my student ID number R152. So complementary feeding can help infants acquire the ability to accept a wide variety of meals that have a range of flavors and texture, which in turn help babies to increase their capacity to chew, swallow, and adjust to new foods. There are some points you should pay attention with when doing complementary feeding, such as continue frequent breastfeeding until 2 years of age, good hygiene and proper food handling, increasing amounts gradually, increasing consistency and variety gradually, increasing numbers of the feeding times, add additional vitamin and mineral, and increasing fluid intake during illness. During the age of 6 until 7 months, complementary food is given in crush or smooth form because it's the first time the baby is introduced to foods. In the age of 7 until 9 months, proteins can already be given to the babies, and in the age of 9 until 12 months, the food can contain a little salt but not sugar. Babies can be also given milk porridge once. So that's all from us. Thank you.